Bob's Burgers is a show that's filled with countless substantial side characters, but interestingly, one of their most beloved was not particularly fleshed out, at least until recently. But thanks to a new voice actress and a renewed focus in her characterization, one of Bob's most adored one-note characters, Marshmallow, has an exciting future filled with, well, more notes. So today, I want to explore every appearance of Marshmallow, speculate on why she's always been so beloved, and talk about why her future is so bright.
The talent show was canceled, Bob.
The talent show is canceled.
The talent show is canceled, Bob.
Hey, this video is brought to you by two things today. One is my official compilation channel, Johnny Too Cozy, where I'm re-editing tons of my old videos into themed compilations, long videos that are great for sleeping or drawing. And second, my wonderful patrons who get tons of extra content exclusive to Patreon. We're currently in the middle of season 2 of our BoJack Horseman audio commentaries. Check those out if they interest you. Thank you so much for your support. I couldn't do it without viewers like you. Marshmallow was actually introduced all the way back in season 1, which is especially interesting. Tons of the most popular recurring characters didn't start popping in until seasons 2 or 3, but Marshmallow first shows up in Sheesh Cab Bob, when Bob starts working a second job as a cabbie and befriends a trio of trans women. Marshmallow isn't one of the three in this trio, but we can presume that Bob met Marshmallow through this trio while he was drunk and probably high, which is also presumably when Bob invited her to Tina's birthday party, and damn does she make an entrance.
Where do I put my code?
Oh, hey, Marshmallow.
Bob's Hey Marshmallow becomes one of the recurring bits for Marshmallow's appearances, but we actually do get a little insight into her character here.
So, Marshmallow, how'd you get your name?
Because if you show me a sweet potato pie, I am on top of it.
Honestly, even though this is played as a joke and is very funny, as a trans character, this is an immediate acknowledgement that Marshmallow is in fact her chosen name. This episode maybe ages a bit poorly in some aspects, particularly in its verbiage, but even with those missteps, Bob's always did a solid job making these trans characters more than just a punchline. He sparks up a real friendship with the trio of women that he drives, and the show pointedly uses their characterization and life experience to create its humor. It doesn't just make the character's existence the butt of the joke. Though interestingly, the character who was least fleshed out in this episode, Marshmallow, would be the one that became the recurring character. In most of her appearances, we do get the tiniest bits of new insight into Marshmallow as a character. In Bob Fires the Kids, when the kids start working for the quote-unquote blueberry farmers, unknowingly becoming, we'll call them grass mules, they deliver some of these special blueberries to Marshmallow.
Ooh, blueberries, I'm ready for a bake-off.
A small cameo, but confirmation that Marshmallow partakes. She has a non-speaking cameo in the first Christmas episode, God Rest Ye Merry Gentle Mannequins, but this cameo is super revealing also. We actually see that she's a very strong ice skater. And in The Kids Run the Restaurant, we learn that Marshmallow also has a little bit of a thing for gambling.
Underground casino, coat off, game on.
Though maybe not intentionally, I also think this is a hint that Marshmallow likes these sort of secret underground events, because we also know that Marshmallow loves dancing. We get our first real hint of this in season 7's Paraders of the Lost Float, when she takes part in the Bog to Beach Parade.
Hey, Marshmallow's here. Hi, girl!
Hi, girl, yourself, you little bog to beach baby.
At the end of the parade, when Bob lets loose, turns up his music, and starts dancing, Marshmallow is one of the first to notice and join him.
Disco, I'll go.
And this interest in dancing is reaffirmed in the 2-part Christmas episode, The Bleakening. At the Belcher Christmas party, Linda brings up that the local dance spot, The Wiggle Room, is shut down, and Marshmallow laments its loss.
I don't know if I'll ever wiggle again.
This was all set up for the big reveal at the end of The Bleakening, where the Belchers discover a secret underground Christmas rave, hence the earlier hints that Marshmallow likes underground events. But aside from the confirmation that she's a raver, this gives us other details as well, like her age.
I couldn't see you. I thought you were dumb kids.
I'm 23.
Though based on how old her parents are later, I'm not sure if this is actually accurate in the long run, but you know, it's something. This 2-part episode also gives us a couple more details about Marshmallow's inebriation tendencies. She's decidedly not a fan of eggnog.
Thanks, baby. Oh, that's nasty.
However, she is a fan of some kind of drugs, and generally sharing them with people who she deems worthy. The Christmas thief not being someone who makes the cut.
And to think I gave you drugs.
So through all of these smaller, typically one-note appearances, we do start to at least get some info about Marshmallow as a person. Nothing substantial, but little tidbits. She's a great ice skater, she partakes in presumably a few different substances, and she loves to dance. But there's one other aspect of Marshmallow's appearances across the show that is pretty telling, and that's that she and Bob seem to really have an affinity for each other.
All I know about Marshmallow is that she comes and goes as she pleases. She answers to no one, and she is truly free.
Though it isn't really explored in any meaningful way, it is undeniable that Bob and Marshmallow really seem to like each other. Bob pretty pointedly welcomes her every time he sees her.
Oh, hey, Marshmallow. Oh, hey, Marshmallow. Oh, hey, Marshmallow. Oh, hey, Marshmallow. Hi, Marshmallow. Hi, Marshmallow. Hi, Marshmallow.
But their affinity for each other definitely stems beyond the pointed greetings.
And Marshmallow isn't handsome. She's beautiful.
Blush.
And Marshmallow seems to help and support Bob nearly any chance she gets.
I can crack anyone's back. Bob, come here.
Honestly, one of my favorite examples of Marshmallow going out of her way to help Bob is when she drops by the restaurant to help everybody sit on their new stool cushions to help get all the fart noises out of them.
Marshmallow is here, and she brought her rear.
She also sticks around when Bob gets glued to the toilet and even helps out a little bit in the restaurant while everyone deals with that crisis.
This was ringing, so I answered it. It's for Bob.
And back at the Bog to Beach parade, Marshmallow is actually one of the first to help Bob get his float to the finish line after it breaks down, pushing it the entire way.
Let's motorboat this float.
In fact, over all of these appearances, I really think there's only a single time that Marshmallow expresses any sort of disappointment or frustration with Bob, and really that was Linda's fault after she calls the cops on the secret rave.
Hi, Marshmallow.
But here's the thing, as charming and lovely as this affinity Bob and Marshmallow have for each other is, it's completely surface level. We don't get any actual insight into the nature of their friendship or connection. We just get these quick glimpses, cute though they may be, and that's because in general, the show wasn't particularly interested in exploring Marshmallow on any deeper level for most of its run. And after season 8, the character didn't even appear for another 6 years. But these issues with her early portrayal, as well as Marshmallow's recent re-emergence, is exactly why the future of the character is so exciting.
Seabird, fly home.
After Marshmallow's appearance in The Bleakening, she wouldn't appear again until season 14's premiere, Fight at the Not Okay Chorale, and even that was just in a fantasy sequence. But after 6 years' absence and previously having been played by David Herman, Marshmallow's return came with a new voice actress in tow, Yari Jones.
And please enjoy my tiny hat. A baby gave it to me. Just kidding. I had it made by a baby.
So, though it was never really stated, it definitely seems like Marshmallow's 6-year hiatus stemmed from the bigger trend in this animation space that has been more attentive to who is portraying certain minority characters in these shows. And this, in general, has been met with pretty mixed reactions, though I think that those reactions more often than not come down to execution. When characters have been around a long time, it's hard for fans to accept new voices for the characters. The Simpsons is a show in particular that has seen a lot of voice acting changes, some due to that aforementioned attention going to who is being cast, and others being replacements for actors who have sadly passed. Some of these new actors go over really well, and others are more poorly received. Simpsons recasts like Carl and Martin have generally been accepted by the fan base, whereas Kevin Michael Richardson's take on Hibbert has not gotten much love due to how different the new performance sounds. In fact, even Bob's Burgers has seen a substantial recast without any pushback, with Eric Bauza stepping into the role of Jimmy Pesto and sounding damn near identical to Jay Johnston. But Yari Jones was actually adamant that she wouldn't be simply recreating Marshmallow's previous voice. In a Deadline interview, she had this to say: "I was nervous for a while because as a trans person, I couldn't in good faith go forward with the stereotype of the deep-voiced girl in the dress. That was important for me to communicate with producers who were very open and accepting of that. It's like, I'm trans, I'm a black woman, and I have bass in my voice. So however that will come out, know it's going to be the most authentic experience of it." I have a lot of respect for Jones' decision here, opting to avoid the old tropes and bring more authenticity to a role that was previously very one-note. But at the same time, I think it's also easy to be worried, given general voice actor change trends, that fans wouldn't be able to accept a different voice, which is actually why I think the execution of Marshmallow and Yari's big coming out episode was so unbelievably well conceived. Season 15's Hope and Mike Night is easily Marshmallow's most substantial story in the show's history. This episode was actually written by show creator Lauren Bouchard, and I think think that he's the sole writing credit says a lot. He's written a handful of episodes over the years, but it's not often that a showrunner's full attention can be given to writing a screenplay with so many oversight duties to handle. And I think it shows how important it was to get this one right that he got that writing credit. Right off the bat, it feels like Marshmallow is fully back despite the voice change. She comes in incredibly passionate about the upcoming open mic at the restaurant, and when it looks like the show might be canceled, she stands up to Bob in support of the kids.
The plate is your stage.
Wow.
When these kids want to make some noise, do they have a stage?
But it also gives insight into why Marshmallow is so adamant that she gets some stage time at the open mic, revealing that her parents are coming to town.
I need to sing here, right here, Friday night.
So immediately, this is giving us more insight into her life than we've ever really gotten before, and it's doing so with the promise to showcase Marshmallow doing something emotional and vulnerable, singing on stage.
They've never heard me sing. And they live far away, and they're old.
So basically, this is important because Marshmallow is trying to share a part of herself with her parents that she never has before. And obviously, this feels like an intentional parallel to the trans experience. And I think this was such a smart story choice for a show that is really trying to illuminate this formerly shallow character and bring more authenticity to that role. But they also don't sacrifice the comedy either. Marshmallow saves the entire open mic by basically blackmailing the fire marshal, who she has some previous experiences with.
Marty, who saved your life in that nightclub?
You did.
And who never told anyone that embarrassing way you almost died in that nightclub?
You.
I love that this personal anecdote also ties to the things that we did know about Marshmallow from the first 8 seasons. We get more specific insight, but it is absolutely no surprise that Marshmallow dances at nightclubs.
You were dancing with an open flame, weren't you, Marty? The fire marshal.
Yes, I made a mistake.
And I carried you out of that building, Marty, like a baby.
Yes, I felt very safe.
Okay, but let's talk about the obvious highlight of the episode and why I think the entire reemergence of Marshmallow was executed to absolute perfection. For the open mic, Marshmallow sings a stunning cover of Seabird by the Alessi brothers.
Listen to me, seabird. You've been away from land too long. Oh, too long.
I think there's a lot going on in the choices made here. For one, I think it's just an incredibly inspired decision to showcase your new voice actress's absolutely undeniable vocal talent through this beautiful music. An incredibly smart way to win over an audience that is used to a character sounding a certain way. But I also just love the idea that previously this character was a one-note side character, and now she gets to literally share an entire song's worth of notes with the audience. I also think the choice of the song Seabird is significant, not just for the character, but for the character's relation to the show. I read Seabird as a song about longing for a connection long past. You've been away from land too long. And this is obviously referencing the newly revealed aspects of Marshmallow's backstory. She hasn't seen her parents in a long time, she wants to reconnect with them, and she does so by sharing something vulnerable and emotional with them in her performance. But I also think that metatextually, this represents how this character has been away from Bob's Burgers for so long. This episode in itself is that reconnection that the song longs for. The way her parents hold hands, how her mother's eyes start to well up, I just adore the emotion in this sequence, and I absolutely cannot say enough about how beautifully and perfectly executed this whole story is. It's an incredible reintroduction to the character.
This world isn't big enough to keep me away from you.
I'm hard-pressed thinking of a better example of a show elevating a character and righting some of its prior missteps. And it's so cool to see Yari Jones so excited to embrace this character and take her further than the show has allowed.
I am so immensely grateful to be able to have the opportunity to step into some big shoes and continue the legacy of what we know as the legendary, the iconic Marshmallow.
Bob's Burgers has always been a show with so many great and nuanced side characters. It's really one of my favorite aspects of the show. And this episode represents such a turning point for this fan favorite character, which can really now finally get the attention that so many of the show's other great side characters have been afforded over the years. I have so much I could say about how exciting the future of Marshmallow is, but I think it might just be best to leave you with Yari Jones' words on the matter.
So here's to more burgers, more back cracks, and more sweet potato pie to be on top of. Now where do I put my coat?
Johnny
I stay mellow watching Johnny Two Cellos. He talks cartoons, he's a really cool fellow. He keeps you posted on adult cartoons. If that's what you're into, then grab a spoon and a very big bowl of your favorite cereal. Feels like Saturday morning cartoon material. Johnny Two Cellos, watch him on YouTube. Now enjoy this groove and bust a move.